welcome to the podcast,
Hello. Thank you for your warm welcome to the podcast on this September the 11th.
Falcon. September 12th. Yes.
Yes. Also September 12th.
Yes, it is the 11th, the 12th of the 9th. Yes, that is the date is today.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is what happens when you do a podcast with somebody on the other side of the world, that's for sure.
True facts. Uh, do you guys have like a moment of silence, like nationally wide for anything like that? No remembrance.
No, nothing
Oh,
official for that. We don't have that for anything. Like, there's
really?
no national moment of silence for anything in American history.
Really?
Uh-huh. Like, I think maybe cities will do certain things that I've heard about, but on a national level,
Okay.
now that you
Fair.
mention it, that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, we do one for I think it's Memorial Day. Well, Anzac Day, probably. I get the two mixed up because one's like remember the war, and the other one's remember the war, and
Yeah.
you know,
And you're like, yes, okay, I shall remember the war.
right? And like you have a moment of silence. I think that's a okay thing to do.
How do they coordinate it? What do they do?
They just set a time and be
So, like, in the newspapers and TV news and, like,
it's the same every year.
Facebook?
Yeah,
I know,
there's
but, like, you
probably an
gotta
ad
remind the
campaign.
people.
There's possibly an ad campaign. I don't know, but it's done in schools and businesses, and so everyone just kind of goes, "Yep, this is coming." Like it's just something we remember. I don't recall seeing ads about it, but I don't watch things with ads. Like I don't read newspapers. I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, they probably did it decades ago when they started the thing, but at this
Yeah.
point, everybody just knows it's same time, same date every year, we're gonna do it. Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe if they'd started something, 20 years ago, then we'd do it, but we don't. Yeah, Aki says she didn't even hear about it today. I only heard about it through Reddit. It's been interesting to see Reddit over the years going, like, when I joined up in 2011 or something, like, there'd be a bunch of stuff. Like, here's a video from 9/11, here's a lot of discussion about it, and different subreddits would have a ton of stuff, and it's just gradually kind of fallen off. And I saw, like, maybe 3 or 4 posts about it today. So,
that does
yeah,
not
just
surprise
how
me.
historical events go. Yep.
Yeah, that is like
Very
as the
normal.
number of people who were physically present or then remember it or were told a story secondhand declines, then naturally just like people are going to forget and it'll become less important to the cultural feeling, I suppose.
No one hardly ever talks about the Battle of Waterloo anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Why do we have a Waterloo Remembrance Day,
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw was a YouTube short, which was New York firefighters climbing up 125 flights of stairs. Which, boy, that sucked. That looked like it sucked.
And I think they all died too. I don't think any firefighters that went up the World Trade Center that day ever survived.
Oh, really?
Because they collapsed and nobody expected them to collapse. So they're just up there, like, trying to get people out, trying to fight the fire, and then you're dead because it collapsed on top of you. Yeah. Super rough. Yeah. So, I mean, climbing up 125 flights of stairs in full firefighter gear and then dying at the end of it. Really bad day. Really bad day, start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad day. That's one way to phrase it.
It is.
Yeah.
There's actually a yellow card song about the 9/11 firefighters.
Is there?
There is.
I'm a big Yellow Card fan, and I've seen them live, but songs with meanings tend to go in one ear out the other. I'm just like, wow, these lyrics are catchy,
Yeah,
that's
like
how I
that
listen to
guitar
music.
solo is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's boy, what is the song
Believe by Yellow
called?
Card.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yep.
Yellow Card are really good live. If you ever get the chance to see them live, they were incredible when I went and saw them.
I should see them live. I agree with you. Yellow Card tour. Are they still touring? Of course they are. Everyone's still touring.
They broke up for a little bit and now they came back. And
oh, good.
they're actually having like something of a resurgence, and they don't know why. I heard someone talking about them on another podcast that they were like, yellow cards like got a huge upswing in like Google search trends and stuff, and like they asked the band, and like, yeah, we have no idea why either. Like, we're happy, but no, couldn't tell you why.
I think I know why.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the band in 2023 that sounds like this?
Sounds like Yellow Card?
Yeah.
Yellow Card.
Right? So there's a whole generation of people that were teenagers and young adults when Yellow Card was big, and they're like, I want to listen to more music like this. And the music industry's like, no, like, we're not doing this anymore. And so, bam, people go to Yellow Card to get Yellow Cards type music,
Fair.
That's what I think is happening.
Yellow Card lost tour to Australia in 2017.
Holy crap, that was forever ago.
That was probably the one I went to.
When you were but a lad.
Yeah.
They're coming to Vegas in October. That's fairly close.
Yeah. You should
That's
go.
the only planned upcoming show? You guys. Really? It's like last show ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's like a giant festival. Plain White Tees.
Oh, when
Veronicas,
we were young. Yeah.
30 Seconds to Mars, Sum 41, Rise Against. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
Reliant K, Green Day, Good Charlotte, Michelle Branch, The Offspring, Bowling for Soup. Okay, so just every band that I liked when I was 14. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's why it's called the When We Were Young.
Yeah. This list, simple plan, Less Than Jake, Goldfinger, saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
Blink 182 is going to be there. They have 30 Seconds to Mars on there twice. That's fun.
All-time lower. Gym Class Heroes, Motion City soundtrack, Thrice.
Oh, 5 Seconds to Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who came up with this idea? Who is like, you know what we need to do is get all the bands from 95 to 2005 and dump them in the same concert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what this is. I mean, this is everybody. Yeah. Huh. How do they do it? Is it just like a festival? Like a 3-day thing or what?
It's a festival for sure. I think it's probably over like the weekend. Because I think they've done this before. Like, I don't think this is the first one. They're doing this like last year.
Okay.
It is. Nope, that's listings for sideshows. Yeah, it is October 21st and 22nd.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, it makes no sense it'd be a single day thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're starting at 11 a.m. on October 21st, so like they're like, we got to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and it would definitely be one of those things. One of those things where you got to like navigate to certain stages to see the bands you want at certain times, and you're gonna just miss out on something because they're playing at the same time as someone else.
Right. It's not some sequential chronological event.
That would take forever.
That would take forever. Everybody played 30 seconds of your biggest hit.
Everyone gets one medley of all their biggest hits.
Yes. You know, that might be interesting, but like totally not worth the bands showing up for that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Rolling Stones is touring because, again, I just don't think the industry kept doing Rolling Stones music past the 70s, you know?
Maybe.
80s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, fun stuff. Yo. So, yeah. So let's see. September 11th, Yellow Card. Where do we go next? I just cast a Plays Badly and Lion Cat 2v2 that they sent in for Mid-Rank Madness.
Yeah.
Had some battle cruisers, had some DTs. It was very Mid-Rank Madness. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear they're still playing.
Yeah. About 6 minutes into the game, 3 players were down to like 10 workers because of all of the damage done to everyone's economy. And that was tons of fun.
Fair enough.
Those are always the best ones. The games where it's like, we're just going to sit back and macro up for 10 minutes is like, no, send some DTs out. Let's jump a battle cruiser across the map. Let's have fun.
Those are good games. We haven't played StarCraft in like a month, maybe longer.
It's true. The Baldur's Gate has
Yeah.
been absorbing our brains.
We're almost done, I think, with our first
Fair.
playthrough at least.
Oh man, so there was this post on Reddit, on the Baldur's Gate 3 subreddit, where somebody puts forth the case that the Emperor is the one who tadpoled you.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a big long post, but the gist of it is, were you my brain can't tell our playthroughs apart. Were you with me when there was a book that talked about the Emperor being sent out by Gortash to find
Yes.
Yes. Okay. To
He
find
was
the what
to
are we
find
calling
the
it?
prism, the astral prism.
Yeah, the astral
Yeah.
prism.
It
Okay,
was
and we were like, "What?" But then there's nothing else, so we're like,
right.
"Okay, moving on."
Here-
There should be a way to confront the Emperor about that. You should be like, "So I found this note."
The
You know?
problem with that theory is there is a scene in the once the Nautilus crashed and you're just wandering around outside the grove. There is a scene you can find a downed, or like a half dead mind flayer, and that is very clearly, explicitly that this is the mind flayer that tadpoled you. Like the narrator says it. Like,
well, who's the narrator?
the narrator is just the narrator. Like, it's just the voice of
The
God, I guess. It's an omnipotent, all-knowing thing. Like,
does your narrator not sound like your dream visitor, who happens
No.
to be the Emperor?
No.
Oh, mine does. That's interesting.
There are moments where the narrator is talking, and I'm in a conversation with the Emperor. Like, why would it do that?
But is it the same voice as
No.
when you're being catfished? No. Okay. Okay, fair. Well, mine is. So I just assumed it's an unreliable narrator because it's just the Emperor saying stuff, right?
No. The narrator is
Okay.
the dungeon master, yeah.
Yeah. Got it. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, then the question just becomes like, what is happening at the beginning of the game? Like, you get picked up by a mind flare on a nautiloid. There are Githyanki trying to crash you because they're going after the astral prism that Shadowheart stole from them. Somehow that we don't know.
Well, I think she says she found it on the nautiloid, didn't she? Like, she's on her own mission from Shah, or at least the Mother Superior at Baldur's Gate's Covenant, to go and find it. And so she somehow gets on the nautiloid, but she's just like, oh, it's here. Great.
Oh, so you think the Illithids stole it from the Githyanki?
Yeah.
And then Shadowheart stole it from the Illithids.
I assume so, because I believe the Githyanki just have it lying around because, well, who's there? Vlaakith? She just has it, like, in a vault somewhere because she's like, if this ever got out, it would end my reign.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And, you know, people want it because, well, the Mind Flayers definitely want it because, I don't know, if they release Orpheus, like if the Mind Flayers release Orpheus, it's like, okay, that undoes Vlaakith, but arguably Orpheus is a bigger problem than Vlaakith is.
Yeah, no. The Elder Brain and that whole thing, they want it so that no one else has it.
Right.
They want it so their plan can't be foiled by Orpheus. Yeah.
But hold on, are we assuming that the Mind Flayers on the nautiloid that picked us up are the same is like a Mind Flayer working for the Elder Brain that's being controlled by the Chosen Three? The Dead Three?
Yes, because
just kind of assumed
Gortash sent out a bunch of subservient Illithids, subservient to the Elder Brain, to find it.
He sent out agents.
Yeah.
Right? And one of them was the Emperor.
Yes.
But we don't, like, is it explicit that all of the agents that were sent out were Mind Flayers?
Maybe not.
Because my understanding would just, I just assumed that the nautiloid ship was just a remnant of the Mind Flayer Empire, who was like, if we can, like, our biggest threat is locked in an astral prism somewhere. If we get that and just bury it in cement, we'll be unstoppable eventually. Right? Like, they were just trying to get the astral prism because it's a threat to, like, their empire coming back. And then the Chosen Three were just like, oh, that's got Orpheus in it. He could be a problem for us. We need to get our hands on that also.
Yeah. So you're saying the Nautiloid that you're on is from the Mind Flayer Empire, a
Mm.
separate entity
Well,
from
the
the
dead.
Mind Flayers under the thrall of the Elder Brain? Or are
Uh,
they the same thing?
they might be. They might not be. I don't know. Because there's
Bleh.
kind
It's
of not a
confusing.
lot. There's kind of not a lot of mind flayers just like out and about under the mind flayer thrall because they're just tadpoling people and leaving them like people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't see a lot of elder brain enthralled mind flayers.
I mean, no, we don't run into many. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay, then the question becomes, how did the Emperor get on the Astral Prism? And he says he saved you from falling out of the Nautiloid and just smashing your brain onto the ground.
Uh-huh.
He's
He
there.
he's
He's
definitely
there.
he
How?
he's definitely there. He is definitely
Yeah.
the agent that Gortash and the other Dead Three chosen sent to go and retrieve it.
One of them. Probably not the only one.
He probably finds it, somehow uses magic to get inside, and then controls Orpheus to unshackle himself. Or maybe it does that in an aura and he just like picked it up. Like I think he explains it at some point that like when he found it, his enthrallment was lessened and then he was able to break free by like getting into it and controlling Orpheus's power.
Yeah.
I think he explains
Right.
it like that.
Uh-huh.
But
How
okay,
did
so he's on
he's
the Nautilus ship, sure, but that doesn't mean he mind flayed you because we're told
well,
otherwise directly.
okay. Then he's like coworkers with the one that did. I mean,
Sure,
right?
okay. I mean, here's the thing.
Well,
He definitely doesn't not like he's invested that you have a mind flayer parasite. He wouldn't let you be free of it even if there was a way to do it because he needs you to have the powers to fight the elder brain. So he wants you strong. He
right.
wants you corrupting yourself with all these illicit powers, right? Like
Yeah.
it it
He,
it,
he
it
wants
sounds
you
like
to be his thralls.
well, willing thrall.
Ooh, fine line. Fine line.
Right, undoubtedly, but he's definitely just like you were chosen. Like he picks you because you've got a tadpole, right? Because his
Yeah.
ability to hold back the illithid transformation uh, is the leverage he has to get you to help him.
Right.
So, I don't think he mind flayed you directly, but he's definitely not upset about it.
No, he's cool with the outcome.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so he's on the Nautiloid ship.
Mm-hmm.
Shadowheart
Is also on the Nautilus ship. Gets captured.
they don't be like, hey, you've got a super cool prism on you. They're just like, go in this pod.
She didn't have the prism on her, I think, because she finds the prism when she gets out of the pod,
Does
right?
she?
Yeah, because she's like, hold up, and grabs something off the table, and you're like, what is that? And she's like, don't worry about it.
Okay, that's hilarious if they just left it on the table,
Yeah.
unguarded by anyone for random
Uh huh.
humans and Githyanki to pick up.
Uh-huh. See, the reason why I
This
don't
is
think
sloppy.
the Nautiloid ship is under Gortash's control there is because why was it like kidnapping people in Baldur's Gate in the first place?
Yeah. So the theory of the Reddit post is that the plan was to be sneaky about it. Sneaky
Sneaky.
about getting the astral prism.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But once the Nautiloid ship gets the astral prism, the Emperor is broken from control. The Elder Brain very quickly decides, I'm going to try to overthrow the Elder Brain. I can't do that because I look like this.
Uh-huh.
I need some people who are more able to make allies and friends here in Faerun to do it for me, right? So
Uh-huh.
he goes rogue, uses the Nautiloid to teleport people from Baldur's Gate into the ship, hoping to find some people that are what he needs.
Maybe. Except there's the
Because they're like, what does Gortash want people worrying about the Illithids for? Like for the Nautiloid to come into Baldur's Gate and like smash towers and pull people off the streets? That is
right.
not the plan at all. Not even close.
So I still another problem I have with this theory is that there is a Illithid, who is very clearly in charge of the Nautiloid, who holds back the demon forces when you get to
Right.
Avernus. And
Right.
he's like, Thrall, go and jump the ship. I will hold them off. He's very clearly, I'm the guy in charge of directing this thing.
He is.
Because he has different armor from the Emperor, and he's in the cutscenes with that armor. Like, we know that this is the guy that's doing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then why does he go rogue kidnapping people? What's his deal?
Maybe he also gets free when they pick up the Astral Prism, and it's just like, we need to like boost our numbers. We've got all these tadpoles lying around. The Mind Flayer Empire is dying. I need backup. And it's just like, let's just pick up a bunch of people, bamf out of here, infect them, and then, you know, once we've got some a small army, we can start making some plays. That's
I guess so. And then he ends up dead, so like that doesn't go anywhere.
right. Well, you can well, he doesn't die, doesn't he?
True.
The crap. Like,
he doesn't die, but then you die. Right?
Well, he doesn't die, but you can bounce the ship, and then he dies in the crash, I think. So he doesn't necessarily die fighting the demon, but...
Right.
Yeah.
No. But isn't he the one that you find in the downed ship?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what's up? Lend me some of your power so I don't die. And then if you do it, then like you die?
You die, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So there's just a bunch of Emperor stuff in the story that's like, I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, all that really matters is that he's very into you having tadpoles and gaining illithid powers.
Yes.
And he catfished you real bad.
Well, I mean, he had to. Like,
I'm just saying. It's not like lawful good thing to do is catfish people.
Nope, but it's, you know, he had to.
It's the greater good. It's for the greater good, Somicron.
It's for his greater intent. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I haven't finished the game yet. But...
Well, I mean, yeah. If the Elder Brain gets loose, we know Gortash's and Orin's and Ketheric's plans. They are not good for anyone. So being in opposition to them, I think, is necessarily good.
Yeah. Like,
unless your entire plan is to just take the Elder Brain for yourself and you turn everyone into Mind Flayers and rule over Faerun that way.
That's an option.
In which case, maybe not good anymore.
Also, by your definition, Raphael's good because he's also in opposition to the Elder Brain and the Chosen Three. So, you know,
is he?
Yeah, he wants to bring him down. He wants to bring him down because he'll give you the hammer to free Orpheus, and
that's
help.
True. Well, in exchange for
the crown. Right? But he's in
like
opposition, so he's doing good things. That's good. That's a good.
If he was really dedicated to the cause of taking the Elder Brain down, he would just give you the hammer. He'd be like, "Look, I know, he always wants to make deals, but I'm just saying."
Literally, no one is doing it for the good of their own heart. Literally, no one. Except for maybe the Paladin in the party.
Well, maybe not the good of their heart, but Raphael, like, for him, if Faerun turns entirely into Mind Flayers and they're soulless, then what does he get to do anymore? You know what I mean?
Don't know.
That's all he does is bargain for souls.
I don't know, but he's not so gung-ho about you getting him the crown that he's like forcing this plan into motion, right? Like he's still just like, you know, take the deal if you want.
But he's not so gung-ho on defeating the Elder Brain that he just gives you the hammer. He's like in this weird middle ground. Right? Isn't that weird? It's not good for him if the Elder Brain and the three take over Faerun. It's really objectively bad for him. Well, and he's like, I'm going to hold on to this thing that can stop them. And if these adventurers choose not to do my deal, then we're all screwed. But I'm still insisting.
I assume that the Dead Three getting what they want, right, does not immediately, with a snap of Thanos' finger, take over Faerun. But what it does is increases the amount of desperate people looking for a devil's bargain exponentially by the day. Right? Because, like, when Baldur's Gate becomes the epicenter of, like, an undead illithid army marching on the rest of Faerun, suddenly there's a lot of people who are looking for power.
Yeah, temporarily, sure.
Right.
It's a spike in sales,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it's not a good long-term plan.
Sure, but you know,
Hmm.
I don't think he's particularly bothered. Like I imagine Faerun here is a kind of place where world-ending conspiracies happen about every 50 years. So this is old hat to him.
Yeah,
Besides, he can always just pick up and go to another plane of existence.
that's true. Hmm.
Ugh. You know.
Good old Raphael.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember when we killed him? That was fun.
When he got to 0 hit points, and was like, "Hi, I'm perfectly fine."
Yeah, and didn't fight back at all. He's like, "You can go ahead and shoot me in the face with your arrows all you want."
And every time we hit him, we'd bamf out of his room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, I mean, he'd banish us. I
Mm-hmm.
think he was banishing us out of the room. That
Yeah.
wasn't us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Glitch. Probably fixed by now. I don't know. We should try it again.
We could.
Certainly good.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yeah, I don't know. Like I was talking with Gallons and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, my girl Shadowheart got a different hairstyle. And I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
So our Shadowheart got a different hairstyle after she killed the Night Song because
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to be more like Shar.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, 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 no. She on her own chose to not kill the Night Song and return to
Mm.
Saloon.
Oh,
So she
okay.
dyed her hair blonde, and I'm like, or white, and I'm
What?
like, what the hell? How did
Nutty?
that happen? I had to like get a 23 DC check to try to convince her not to kill the Night Song. She was dead set on that.
Why? Yeah.
And in our playthrough, she was dead set on killing the Night Song. Not that
Yeah.
we didn't try to stop her, but like at no point was she like, let me turn against my goddess here real quick.
Well, she got there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So she has
But not at
turned.
that moment. She was
Not at that
deep into
moment.
zealotry at that moment. So why was
Yeah.
Gallons' Shadowheart not deep into zealotry at that moment?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't
there's more
understand.
conversations you can have with her if you talk to her every time you go to camp. Right?
Yeah, must be.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing. Like one of the things they're patching is like if there's an important thing to do at camp, they'll tell you instead of just being like,
Hope you find it.
yeah. Or sometimes your companions will say they want to go back to camp and sleep. Like that's the hint.
Mm. That's not a very good hint because we just think they're being lazy.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, if you don't go back to camp enough, then you can totally miss like major conversations and major plot points for characters in your party.
Mm-hmm.
Like where Yenna went, maybe. Okay, no, that's just a bug.
Who is not a shapeshifter, we discovered.
Who
She just
abandoned us with her cat
she just went to go
for
and
us
find
to
soup
take care of
supplies. That's all.
for weeks and months. Yeah.
Hmm. Days, really.
I guess. I don't know. Time's really weird in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember when we found the Githyanki who hatched from that egg?
And he was like a fully grown teenage adult.
Yes. How long was it from us getting the egg from the crash and having that conversation?
Githyanki just grew at a hyper accelerated
Years?
rate. That's all. Remember when we went to the Githyanki crash and there were very clearly like young teenage boys in like a classroom who were
Sure.
definitely not like young adults. So
Yes.
I'm just saying that there's clearly an intermediary stage that lasts for some time, not just like egg cracked, fully formed adult who's got a worldview about justice. You know.
Yeah. Depending on what they were taught, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I was like, how much time is passing in this game? Like, what do you think is feasible for this? I mean, it has to be months at the least
Yeah.
for him to go from inside an egg to where he ends up.
Yeah. Like
Like for him to learn language, be taught a code.
Children pick up language very quickly.
Okay.
There are magic spells for that. He's just casting comprehend languages every day. He's got it on a ritual spell.
Like maybe for the sake of science, they totally did that.
Maybe.
It's like speed run the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, I just the game is so big and sprawling. It totally makes sense for it just be kind of timey-wimey with timeline and stuff. Like, what are we?
Kind of has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what I think would help with the game with that is just give each of the different acts different seasons. Right? Like make the grove like summer, and then you go through like something else. Well, the Cursed Land, you kind of miss out on it, but just make Baldur's Gate like winter. Give it a snowy aesthetic, lots of people keeping warm by fires and stuff like that. And you go, okay, so it's been at least like 6 months.
Yeah, like sensation of time.
Yeah.
Because if you just count up the number of nights that you sleep, it's not that many.
No.
Probably
like 15, 20, maybe 30. Like that's
yeah, I'd say 30 is really high.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that when you're just like wandering around Baldur's Gate, there is no day-night cycle. So
right.
A single day could be a year long in Faerun.
I guess.
Yep. Nights are still only 8 hours.
I wonder how hard it is to implement a day-night cycle in your game.
I don't know. Depends how well you made the base of the game. Like, it's just held together with string and duct tape. It's probably a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I guess the bigger problem would necessarily be changing NPC behavior based on what time of day it is.
I imagine.
Would you not have to do that? I feel like you'd have to do that.
I feel like you'd have to do that, but you just like, if day, do this. If night, do that. I feel like that's not the hard part. Well, I mean, it's hard in the idea that you have to then write and program 2 entirely different tracks, but like switching them over, I think would be easy. It's
yes. Once you had a night state,
right?
Yeah, but that's all the work. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's difficult from someone who's clearly never done it, but I think it's just a lot of work.
Absolutely.
It's all the stuff you're doing already, just for night.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
They could do it. They could add it in.
They could.
Yeah. I don't think it would change very much either. Just more of an immersion thing than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'd have to then suddenly build a bunch of apartments in Baldur's Gate City to like describe where all these people live, because there are way more people out on the streets than there are like beds in the city.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love too that it's like we're in Baldur's Gate, the biggest city for thousands of miles around.
Right.
We're sleeping on the docks. That's where we're hanging out.
Yeah.
Are there inns here? I don't know. We're not even going to try to find out.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that's Wither's fault. Like, we just can't walk into the city inn with an undead. With Withers and an owlbear, it's like, hi, we'd like to make use of your stable for our owlbear. They just go, no, go to the docks, you crazy loon.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, owlbears are dangerous, man.
It's true.
Truth. Okay, it's owlbear's fault and Wither's fault. Understood.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my headcanon there.
Okay. So, man, what do we have left? We've got all 3 stones.
We just gotta go confront the brain.
It's like confront the elder brain time now.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's a smooth and easy process, and we'll be done in about 15, 20 minutes.
Correct.
Nothing
and then
to
it's
do
game
after that.
over, and you win.
Yep.
Or lose, I suppose.
We all live happily ever after.
Yeah.
That's what I think's gonna happen. Ooh.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, how long till DLC for this game comes out? And when is it set? Like, does it just give you an alternative path, like a thing to do between like Act 1 and 2? Or is it just like, okay, we're just going to assume you defeated the Elder Brain, freed everyone, you know?
And here's the next big threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's interesting.
I think that sounds about right to me.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I think it'll be months before we see something like that, though.
I think they have too much work to do just ironing out problems with the game as it is.
Sure. I believe that. Yep. Okay, well, let's go play some Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow week. Not a lot going on in StarCraft.
True facts.
We never went over the proposed balance changes, but since they're proposed, I think we just leave it like that for the moment.
We did.
No, we didn't.
No, we totally did.
Nope.
Not all of them.
Not this round. No, I don't think we did. I don't recall. Let's put it like that.
No, we totally did.
No, I don't think we did.
It was in passing. It was like, here's a couple things that they're talking about doing, but I don't really care because these are just proposed.
We had a brief conversation about it in a freaking chat while you were casting that, because they were playing that on the balance patch.
Okay, that's how I remember speaking about it into a microphone.
Yes.
It was a freaka.
Do I look like a Canadian to you?
I mean, all you non-Americans look the same.
All us Commonwealthers.
Yeah, Commonwealthers, beholden to the king. You all look the same.
Yeah, the king.
The king.
The king.
King. All right. Yeah. Well, when they have an official balance patch, we'll talk about it. How about that?
Yep.
Because that actually matters.
Yes, that's agreeable. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that in the proposed that it's not going to make it into the final version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Good. Okay, good. So that is going to be it from us today. Another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, streamed live at twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin and twitch.tv/Somicron. You can support the podcast directly at falconpaladin.store by buying merch. You can also support it at patreon.com/Somicron. And until next time, about a week from now, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.